Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Kennedy half-dollar coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have something truly exciting to discuss. If you think that old coins are only worth their face value, think again, because we're about to dive into a hidden gem of American coinage, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar. This coin may seem like a simple memento of the early 70s, but believe me, it's far more valuable than you might think, especially when you understand the rarity and unique features that make it so desirable to collectors. The Kennedy half-dollar, first introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy following his tragic assassination, has gone through several changes in its design and composition over the years. By 1972, the coin was still being minted primarily from copper-nickel, which was a far cry from the silver composition used in earlier versions. But what makes the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar so special isn't necessarily its material, it's the rare circumstances surrounding some of the coins minted that year. Before we get into the juicy details, let's first talk about the coin's general design. Like all Kennedy half-dollars, the obverse features a striking portrait of President Kennedy, with his strong, dignified image still resonating with Americans to this day. On the reverse side, you'll find the familiar eagle with its wings spread wide, grasping a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and defense of freedom. It's a coin that carries a great deal of symbolism and history, but when you start looking into what makes the 1972 version so unique, you'll see it's much more than just a beautiful piece of currency. Now, let's talk about rarity and errors. While millions of 1972 Kennedy half-dollars were minted, not all of them are equal. As any experienced collector will tell you, the key to determining a coin's value lies in its condition and any minting errors that might exist. And when it comes to the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, there are some really exciting error coins out there. One of the most sought-after versions of this coin is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly, causing the design to appear more than once in slightly different positions. This results in a blurry or overlapping image, which might look like a mistake to the untrained eye, but to collectors, it's a valuable and rare find. If you've got a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with this type of error, you could be sitting on a small treasure, but there's more to the story than just minting errors. Some of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollars were struck with a misaligned die, causing the design to be off-center or even partially missing. These types of errors are not only rare but highly sought after by serious collectors because they make the coin stand out from the crowd. Imagine finding a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with part of the eagle missing or the design slightly shifted to one side. It would be a unique and valuable piece to add to any collection. Aside from mint errors, another important factor in determining the value of these coins is the condition of the coin itself. Coins that have been in circulation for decades often show signs of wear, and the more wear a coin has, the less valuable it tends to be. But if you happen to have a well-preserved, uncirculated 1972 Kennedy half-dollar, then you're in luck. Coins that were never used in circulation or that were carefully stored away in pristine condition are worth far more than their face value. These coins are often referred to as being in mint state, and their value can increase dramatically when sold to the right buyer. But what if I told you that there's more to this story? That some 1972 Kennedy half-dollars, even in typical circulation, have sold for incredible amounts of money? This is where the real magic happens. While the typical 1972 Kennedy half-dollar in good condition might only fetch a few bucks, if you've got one with an error or in mint condition, it could be worth significantly more. Here's where it gets even more exciting. If you have a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with a minting error, especially one of the more dramatic types like a double die or misaligned die, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. A coin like this could potentially be sold at auction to the highest bidder, and in some rare cases, a single coin could fetch an astonishing amount. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. What is the actual value of a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar if it's in excellent condition or has one of those rare minting errors? Well, prepare to be amazed, because depending on the rarity of the error and the coin's condition, it could be worth as much as $62,000. Yes, that's $62,000 for a single coin. It's incredible to think that a piece of pocket change from the 1970s could be worth such an eye-popping amount. That's the power of rare errors and exceptional condition in the world of coin collecting. So, if you've got a 1972 Kennedy half-dollar tucked away in your collection, or if you happen to come across one in your change, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Carefully examine the coin for any minting errors, and don't forget to check its condition. You could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Top 2, we've got something truly special in store for you. The United States Kennedy half-dollar, minted in 1776 to 1976. This coin might look like any other half-dollar, but trust me, there's a whole lot more going on here than meets the eye. Stick around, because by the end of this video you'll have a whole new appreciation for this unique coin, and you might just realize that you've been holding on to a small fortune this whole time. The Kennedy half-dollar 1776 to 1976 is not just a regular coin, it's a piece of American history. This coin was minted to commemorate the Bicentennial of the United States, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The minting of this coin was a celebration of freedom, patriotism, and the birth of a nation, and that alone makes it incredibly significant in the world of numismatics. But don't let the historical importance fool you. There's so much more to this coin than just a milestone in American history. First, let's talk about the design. The obverse of this coin features the familiar image of President John F. Kennedy, who has graced the half-dollar since 1964. His profile, captured in a dignified and powerful way, has become a lasting tribute to the 35th President of the United States. But the reverse of the coin is where things get interesting. The design was specifically created to mark the bicentennial celebration, with a bold 1776 to 1976 inscription, showcasing a Liberty Bell and an eagle holding a bundle of arrows and an olive branch. This reverse design is a powerful symbol of the nation's independence, strength, and peace. It's the bicentennial theme that truly sets this coin apart from other Kennedy half-dollars. Now, as far as the composition goes, the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was minted in copper nickel, just like other half-dollars from the late 20th century. It's not a coin that contains silver, which makes it a bit different from the earlier Kennedy half-dollars minted in the 1960s. Despite that, this coin still holds significant value, especially in terms of rarity, errors, and condition. Here's where it gets really exciting: rarity and errors. Like any coin, the value of a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar greatly depends on its condition. Most of these coins were minted in large numbers, meaning they were widely circulated and used in everyday transactions. As a result, many of these coins have suffered from wear and tear over time, making them less valuable. However, there's a special category of these coins that collectors are particularly after: uncirculated coins. These are the coins that have been carefully preserved and never used in circulation. If you have one of these gems, it could be worth far more than its face value, but there's more. What really makes the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar even more fascinating is the minting errors that can occur. These errors are one of the main reasons why some of these coins are worth so much more than others. A common error to look out for is the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is stamped more than once, causing the lettering and images to appear doubled or blurry. It may look like a simple mistake, but to collectors, it's a highly sought-after feature that can increase the value of a coin exponentially. Another minting error to look out for is a misaligned die. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is slightly off-center, leading to a design that's shifted or incomplete. These coins are incredibly rare, and because of the way they stand out from regular coins, they can command a much higher price from collectors. Now, let's talk about mintage. The 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was produced in massive quantities. In fact, over 200 million of these coins were minted to meet the demand for bicentennial celebrations. With such a high mintage, you might think that these coins would be relatively easy to find, but here's the twist: uncirculated versions and coins with rare minting errors are anything but common. Finding one of these coins in top condition, with no signs of wear or damage, is incredibly difficult, and that's why these coins can fetch such high prices at auctions and from collectors. So, let's get down to the big question. What is the value of a 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollar? If you happen to have one of these coins that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, or one that has a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth significantly more than the face value of 50 cents. If you happen to be the lucky owner of a 1976 Kennedy half dollar with a unique minting error or one that's in perfect condition, you could be sitting on a treasure worth as much as $79,000. Yes, that's $79,000 for a single coin. Imagine coming across one of these coins in your collection, or even finding it in a box of old coins that you inherited or stumbled upon in a garage sale. That could mean a huge payday. And because these coins are still relatively affordable for collectors to purchase in bulk, it's possible that you might be able to find one in your own collection or within your reach at a local coin shop or auction. So, the next time you go through your old coin jar or start sorting through a box of change, take a close look at any 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half dollars you might have. You could be holding on to a rare minting error or a pristine uncirculated version that could make you a pretty penny. Top 3, we're taking a closer look at a coin that might be sitting quietly in a drawer or jar, but could actually be worth a jaw-dropping amount. We're talking about the 1973 Kennedy half dollar from the United States of America. Yes, that ordinary-looking 50-cent piece could be a real goldmine in disguise. Let's take a moment to appreciate the story behind this coin. The Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was meant as a tribute to a beloved leader, and ever since then, this coin has held a special place in American hearts, and in coin collections around the world. But the 1973 Kennedy half dollar? That's a special year. You see, in 1973, these coins weren't released for general circulation. They were only made for collector sets, known as mint sets and proof sets, which makes them quite rare compared to the average half dollar you'd find in your change. That limited mintage alone makes it a standout, but wait, there's more. The real excitement comes when we talk about rarity and condition. Because these coins were only intended for collectors, most were kept safe, but not all survived the decades in pristine condition. A 1973 Kennedy half dollar that has remained untouched, uncirculated, and flawless, especially one graded at the highest levels by coin grading companies, is a true treasure. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Some 1973 Kennedy half dollars have errors, yes, minting mistakes, that make them incredibly unique. We're talking about double strikes, off-center strikes, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. These aren't just flaws, they're the golden ticket for collectors. Imagine holding a coin that wasn't meant to exist, a coin with a one-of-a-kind feature that separates it from millions of others. That's the dream for any serious numismatist. Collectors are constantly hunting for coins like this, and the 1973 Kennedy half dollar checks all the right boxes. It's rare, it's historical, and with the right error or in perfect condition, it becomes a true showpiece. And as any collector knows, rarity and uniqueness are what turn an ordinary coin into a highly valuable prize. Now, if you happen to come across a 1973 Kennedy half dollar that's in pristine, uncirculated condition, or one with a rare minting error, get ready to be amazed. Because coins like these have been known to sell for an astonishing $40,000. That's right, just one 50-cent coin could be worth $40,000. So before you toss that old coin or walk past that dusty collection, take a closer look. You might just be holding a hidden fortune. Top 4, we've got something really exciting to talk about, a coin that could be sitting in your collection right now, quietly waiting to reveal its hidden value. We're diving deep into the world of the 1971 Kennedy half dollar. While it may seem like a regular coin, there's much more to it than meets the eye. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see why this coin could be worth a lot more than you thought, and why it might be worth your time to check your pockets or coin jar for one. The Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964, just after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. His likeness, gracing the obverse side of the coin, has made it one of the most iconic and recognizable coins in American history. The reverse side of the coin features a powerful eagle, symbolizing the strength and unity of the United States. It's no wonder that this coin has been a staple of U.S. currency for decades, serving as a tribute to a beloved president. Now, when we look specifically at the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, things start to get interesting. You see, by this time, the coin had undergone some significant changes. Most notably, the composition of the coin was altered from 90% silver, which had been used in earlier versions, to a copper-nickel clad. While this made the coins less valuable in terms of precious metal content, it didn't stop them from holding value in the eyes of collectors. One of the most important things to know about the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar is its rarity and condition. Although millions of these coins were minted, not all of them are worth the same. You see, coin collecting isn't just about owning a coin, it's about having the right coin, one that's in excellent condition or has something unique about it. And that's where the true value of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar lies. First, let's talk about condition. Most of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollars were released into circulation and have been through the ringer. They've been used in day-to-day transactions, which means they likely have scratches, wear, and discoloration. A coin that's been through that much handling simply isn't as valuable as one that's been preserved in pristine condition. Coins that were carefully stored away and never used in circulation, uncirculated coins, are much rarer and in much higher demand, and then we get to the really exciting part, minting errors. This is where things can get pretty wild for collectors. Minting errors are a big deal in the world of coin collecting, and they're often what make a coin worth far more than you might expect. For the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, some coins were struck with double dies or misaligned dies, two of the most sought-after errors in the coin world. These errors happen when the die used to strike the coin is slightly misaligned or double impressed, which causes the design to appear in a doubled or shifted fashion. The result? A truly rare and valuable coin that stands out from the rest. A double die error, for example, results in a coin with doubled lettering or images. If you find a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with a double die error, it could easily be worth thousands of dollars, much more than the face value of 50 cents. These types of errors are extremely rare, and collectors will pay top dollar for them, as they're a true anomaly in the world of coin minting. The value of such a coin can skyrocket, especially if it's in uncirculated condition. Another common error to look for is a misaligned die. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is not properly aligned with the coin's planchet. The result is a coin that has a design that's shifted or incomplete, making it look different from the typical issue. These misaligned die coins are rare and highly sought after by collectors, so if you happen to have one of these, you could be sitting on a treasure. Now, let's get to the all-important question: how much is a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar worth? As I mentioned earlier, the value of these coins depends on a few key factors: their condition, whether they have any minting errors, and how rare they are. Most 1971 Kennedy half-dollars in average condition are worth just a few dollars, but that's not the whole story. If you've got one that's in pristine, uncirculated condition or one that has an amazing minting error, the value can be drastically higher. Some of these rare coins have been sold for tens of thousands of dollars, which is incredible for a coin that was minted over 50 years ago. If you happen to have a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar that's in mint condition or features one of these rare errors, it could be worth $76,000. Yes, you heard that right, $76,000 for a single coin. It's a mind-blowing figure, especially when you consider that the original face value of this coin is just 50 cents. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. Sometimes, a small mistake or a well-preserved piece of history can lead to a massive windfall. So, what should you do next? Start checking your coins. Take a look at your 1971 Kennedy half-dollars and see if you can spot any minting errors or signs of an uncirculated coin. If you find something special, you might just have a rare gem on your hands that could be worth a small fortune. Whether you're buying, selling, or simply enjoying the hobby, there's no better feeling than uncovering a valuable coin. Top 5, and last rare half-dollar coin. We're diving into one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar. At first glance, it might seem like just another $50, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Stick with me, and you'll see why this particular coin could be worth much more than its face value and how certain factors could make it a highly sought-after treasure in the world of collectors. Now, the Kennedy $50 is no stranger to collectors. First introduced in 1964 as a tribute to the assassinated President John F. Kennedy, it quickly became one of the most iconic coins in American history. Over the years, this coin has undergone a few changes, but it's still a powerful symbol of patriotism and national pride. Fast forward to 1981, and we're looking at a coin that has its own unique place in history, as it was minted during a period of transition for U.S. currency. In 1981, the Kennedy $50 was still composed of the copper-nickel-clad composition that had replaced the earlier silver versions. While this change reduced the intrinsic value of the coin due to the absence of silver, it didn't diminish the interest of collectors. In fact, the 1981 Kennedy $50 is still considered a significant piece for numismatists, especially when you consider the rarity and condition of certain specimens. This coin wasn't produced in the same numbers as some of its earlier counterparts, which makes it even more intriguing for collectors looking for something special. Let's talk about why the 1981 Kennedy $50 could actually be worth much more than its face value. As with any coin, the value often depends on a few key factors: condition, rarity, and any potential minting errors that could set a coin apart from others. While millions of these coins were minted, most of them circulated and saw a lot of wear and tear. That means finding one in excellent condition is a real treat for collectors. Coins that have been carefully stored away, kept in pristine condition, or never circulated at all are far more valuable. If you happen to have a 1981 Kennedy $50 that's uncirculated, you could already be holding onto something that's worth a lot more than 50 cents, but what about those rare minting errors that can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary one? This is where the magic happens for collectors. Minting errors are the stuff of legends in the world of numismatics, and the 1981 Kennedy $50 is no exception. These errors happen when something goes wrong during the minting process, resulting in a coin that's different from the standard issue. And trust me, collectors love these types of coins. One of the most valuable types of errors to look out for is a double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned or pressed multiple times, causing the design to appear doubled or blurry. The most common place you'll see a double die error is in the lettering or numbers on the coin. If you find a 1981 Kennedy $50 with a double die error, you could be looking at a rare and highly sought-after coin that could fetch a premium price. Another error that collectors go wild for is a misaligned die. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is slightly out of position, causing the design to be imprinted in the wrong place. The result can be a coin with off-center images, shifted designs, or even incomplete features. These errors make the coin unique, and as we know, unique equals valuable in the world of coin collecting. If you've come across a 1981 Kennedy $50 with a misaligned die, consider yourself lucky. You might have found a coin that's worth a lot more than you thought. Now, let's get to the part that you've all been waiting for: the value of the 1981 Kennedy $50. If you're holding a coin in uncirculated condition or one that has a minting error, you could be sitting on a treasure. While most of the 1981 Kennedy $50 are worth just their face value, coins in excellent condition or those with minting errors can fetch a much higher price. Some 1981 Kennedy $50 have sold for $67,000. Yes, you heard that right, $67,000 for a single coin. It's incredible to think that a coin that was minted in 1981, a mere few decades ago, could be worth such a large sum of money today. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about having a collection, it's about having rare, unique, and well-preserved pieces that stand the test of time. If you have a 1981 Kennedy $50 in great condition, or even better, one with a minting error, it could turn out to be a goldmine. So, how can you tell if your 1981 Kennedy $50 is one of these valuable treasures? Start by examining its condition. Is it shiny and fresh, or is it worn and circulated? If it looks brand new, you've got a keeper on your hands. Next, look closely at the design. Check for any double dies, misaligned strikes, or other imperfections that could make your coin stand out from the rest. And don't forget, even minor errors can significantly increase the value of the coin. Thank you so much for tuning in today and exploring the fascinating world of the 1981 Kennedy half dollar with me. I hope you now see why this coin is more than just a simple half dollar. It's a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to keep up with all the latest in the world of rare coins. Who knows, your next coin could be worth a staggering $67,000. Keep on hunting, and happy collecting.